Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Bill Harris, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence dedicated to Bess Moran, retired high school special education and art teacher.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need a motion for the approval of the board meeting agenda.
So moved.
Bill Harris, second by Flo, all in favor? Motion carried. Tonight we have presentations, first from our student representatives. Well, one, Jocelyn is on the senior trip. So just Anaya Green.
Hello, my name is Anaya Green. I am the junior representative, and thank you for the opportunities to serve on the board. Assistant Principals Week was during the first week of April. Shout out to Ms. Nyland and Dr. Marr for the high school, Mr. Boyle for the middle school, Ms. Roosevelt and Mr. Bruno for ASK, and Mr. Crown for HBE. The Port Jervis Middle School performed their spring prep, Walk Rock of Ages, on April 13th and the 12th. The honor flight took place on April 13th. The Port Jervis High School Odyssey of the Mind won 3rd overall at states last weekend on April 13th. Wednesday, April 24th, is Clerk, Typist, and Administrative Assistant Day. The semi-formal is on April 27th in the high school gym. The middle school had another successful DC trip. Seniors left for their senior trip today, April 18th, to Universal, Florida. They landed safely and will be returning on Monday, April 30th. We also wish to thank our traveling agent, Jordan Little, who graduated the class of 2013 for organizing the trip. There will be a field trip to Newport on Thursday, April 25th, and a field trip to Mount St. Mary on the Friday, May 3rd, for the current juniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Anaya. Next up for presentations, we have a presentation on the science of reading by Natasha Walkowitz and Emily Mesnick.
My name is Dr. Walkowitz, and I have Ms. Mesnick right behind me. And we're going to present, we like to call it a brief of the briefs, which is the science of reading and how it relates to our curriculum of instruction right now and in the future. So I'm going to hand off to Ms. Mesnick, and she's going to start the presentation.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here to speak. The science of reading is this convergence of evidence that has been put together over the research from the last 50 years. It is a combination of what works in literacy instruction, the how and the why. It's interdisciplinary research that documents how children develop reading and writing skills and competencies. The science of reading informs instruction at different developmental stages. And it also shows that there are effective ways to teach reading from early childhood through adolescence education, which is our 12th grade. And it also shows how to reach at-risk students, students with disabilities, English language learners. The science of reading also emphasizes the importance of structured literacy instruction, and it develops the big 6 skills and competencies, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. It suggests key instructional approaches to building those literacy skills, which they call high-impact practices, and it also reflects the importance of fostering culturally responsive teaching environments. So what New York State has done is New York State took all of this research and combined it into 7 literacy briefs. They're actually very easy to read. They're meant to be read in order because the first 2 briefs talk about what is the science of reading. The third brief combines reading and writing instruction and how you would teach both of those. Briefs 4, 5, and 6 each talk about pre-kindergarten, elementary school, and then how to work with reading at the high school level. And then finally, in brief 7, it's how can we lead this development in our classrooms, in our schools, and in our districts. So if you read the briefs in order, it starts with understanding the science of reading, takes it into the implications for classrooms, and then finally how we push out that implementation as leaders in the district. The Science of Reading Big 6, they're a group of skills and competencies that support effective reading and writing instruction. So we have oral language, which is speaking and listening, and it provides the foundation for written language. You have comprehension, which is a complex process that has the ultimate goal of reading and constructing meaning from different texts. You have fluency, which is the ability to read text with accuracy, expression, and also at an appropriate rate. You have phonological awareness, which is an awareness of speech sounds, and that's different from phonemic awareness, which is your ability to identify and manipulate sounds. We have phonics, which is the systematic matching of sounds with letters that represent those sounds. And then finally, vocabulary. That's our sixth, Big 6, and it's the student's internal dictionary. It's made up of words and also what they need. So these Big 6 are meant to be taught in a very structured way. They're supposed to be taught in a systematic and cumulative approach, which means that they're introduced in a logical sequence, and then also they're consistently reviewed and gone over. They're also meant to be explicit and direct teaching, where the instruction is clear and students are not expected to make assumptions. The teachers should provide these clear examples on what each of these mean. There's also the responsive and authentic learning, where each pathway for each student is different. It's personalized, it's differentiated, it's relevant, and it's context-based. So all of that is your Big 6 competencies and skills that all of the students should have as they move through their education. What the science of reading is not, it is not one instructional approach. It's not a program, it's not a curriculum. What it is those 50 years of research, and it's meant to inform educators of their reading instruction and how it can be rooted in the research. It's not prescriptive, it's not a state mandate, which is very interesting because in the past the state would mandate and tell you need to do this, but that's not what this is. This is 50 years of research, and we should be looking at that research to make our educational decisions. It's not a belief or instructional approach that teaches skills in isolation. We know effective curriculum and effective pedagogy approaches match the goals and target skills with strategies that range from isolated practice to application. So it's not meant to be just taught in isolation. It's meant to be taught and then applied. It's not just phonics and decoding. I think that's a misconception right now, is science of reading is phonics. Phonics and decoding is a piece, and it's a very important piece, but it's just a piece. And finally, a belief that science of reading and culturally responsive teaching are distinct approaches. That's not the case. They're actually woven together. It's in a student-centered and culturally responsive classroom, and also an inclusive classroom for all learners that is characterized by rigor and high expectations. That's where children develop literacy skills for life. So that's kind of an overview of what the science of reading is and also what it isn't. And now Dr. Walkowitz is going to tie this into where we are currently in the district and also where we go next.
So Emily and I had taken a workshop recently because I know a lot of the conversation has been around science of reading. And what does that really mean? What does it mean for teachers? We push teachers and introduce them into courses that are being offered right now in our school leadership, that BOCES is being offering their school leadership. But we had a chance for a full day to meet with the folks who actually were part of the research process at Harvard University and from the mouths of state ed. So it was a really informative day for us. And we thought it would be imperative to share this information with you. So we went through looking at the high impact practices, which are highlighted in red on the screen. And those are text-based discussions and writing opportunities. And some of the teachers in the room might say, oh yes, we do this. That's because yes, we do a lot of these things right now. Text-based discussions and writing opportunities, engagement with a variety of high-interest, diverse, and complex texts, phonological awareness, phonics, spelling, and word study skill building, collaborative and culminating projects, performances, and celebrations, fostering understanding of print conventions, features, and functions. So yes, it does sound a lot like what we're doing in school right now. And the science and reading experts are saying, before you make any changes to your programs, or any of your curriculum, or any of your textbooks, or reading materials, take a step back and take a look at your program and evaluate your reading and writing practices. So yes, these boxes are checked. And what Emily and I did was take a look at some of the practices and some of the curriculum components in our district and start tying them into what the high impact practices are in the classroom that the research has said for 50 years. So we have Readers and Writers Workshop, K-8. We have center-based classrooms. We have Newsella, which is a leveled program that levels our literacy in all content. Excuse me. We have just adopted foundations and just words. We have IXL and Newsella formative and summative assessments that are practice and benchmark applied. We have Project Lead the Way, which is hands-on, which is what Emily was just talking about. It's learning and then practice. So that's what Project Lead the Way is mostly about. We have diversity in our middle school and high school electives and honors. We have college courses. We have Seal of Biliteracy and Seal of Civic Readiness, which provides that hands-on experience and celebrates our students for doing those extra activities. We have Alternative Arts Graduation Pathway, which we're introducing this year. We have Creative Curriculum in our pre-K program, which is a hands-on interdisciplinary approach to instruction. Those are all the things that we are doing, and I've tied them all into each of these high impact practices so you can see that we're on the way. So some of the other pieces that we had to look at and evaluate is our school and classroom structures. So what the research has said, in the red again, here are the school and classroom structures that we need to focus on. The inclusive curriculum and assessments, differentiated and culturally responsive and sustaining pedagogy, comprehensive knowledge building units, screening and progress monitoring for risk students, purposeful play for active engagement and consolidation, protocols and routines for collaboration and independent study. And I'm sure we have a lot of teachers in the room again. We do a lot of this, and yes, we do. So Emily and I started playing around with all the different high points once again and seeing what fits in the boxes of what the 50 years of research has said is good practice in school and classroom structures. So once again, the foundations and just words that we just adopted. Literacy in all content areas. I know one of our principals at the high school cannot drive home enough literacy in content areas. So he's right on the mark. Readers and Writers Workshop. College course opportunities for all students. MTSS. F&P benchmarks. End of unit celebrations. 7 to 12 common assessments, graduation pathways, IXL and Newsella diagnostic and level readers, district-wide curriculum, which we are working on, Project Lead the Way K through 12, district-wide PBIS, which we have and we've blown up in this whole district, K to 12 character education, PK creative curriculum, graduation pathways, hands-on learning, and professional learning communities. Those are a few things. We couldn't fit them all in the box, but we highlighted some of the great things that are going on right now that are part of the 50 years of research. So I also want to just mention, and I had showed this once before, I was just playing around with kind of the vision of our pre-K to 12 literacy continuum. So I just want you to be able to see this before we put it on the website. just how literacy graduates from each grade level to grade level into bigger and better opportunities for our students. So it goes from creative curriculum, also included, which is not direct instruction for students, but our literacy coaches and our curriculum maps and units inform what is being taught at the pre-K level. Our K-5, which is our readers and writers units of study, foundations and just words, and Project Lead the Way, just a few of the things that are high literacy impact programs. Once again, literacy coaching and curriculum maps in our MTSS. And our Teachers College into 6 to 8, Project Lead the Way in our honors program. And for 9-12, as you can see, it just expands greatly into all these opportunities, including Project Lead the Way into specific graduation pathways. So where do we go from here? We have a lot going on in this district. Our teachers are developing themselves, they're immersing themselves in committees to make these very big decisions and to look at our programs. So the first thing that the researchers have told us is to take a step back and take a look. So evaluate what you have. So right now, as a lot of you may know, we had adopted Teachers College Reading and Writing. Right now, we're in transition with those programs. We're evaluating the data on how successful Teachers College alone. We did notice early on when I first came that we didn't have phonics. So we implemented a phonics program, Wilson Foundations and Just Words. And our teachers noticed a difference right away. This is our second year, not full, but our full first year. We had an immersion last year with our teachers. Use of literacy coaches has made a big impact. That's the number one thing a district can do, is provide teachers with literacy coaches to make the greatest impact on student engagement and progression. That's one of the big reasons. And from this evaluation, we have a reading team that is looking to see what is missing in our literacy progression based on data, not just assumptions, but data. Interviewing teachers, looking at actual results from our in-classroom scores versus our standardized scores, and seeing what else is missing for our students and what drives. That was the biggest recommendation from Harvard and the Science of Reading group and New York State Ed. They repeated that over and over. And then make adjustments from there. Once you've identified those gaps, make adjustments. So our reading, writing, and listening and speaking committee, we formed this group to do this evaluation before we even knew that this is what Harvard and New York State Ed was recommending. So good for us for get ahead of the game. We are in the process of evaluating our data, and we will be providing Dr. Bell and the board with some recommendations for where we need to go next. And just to reiterate, one of the things that we want to stay strong about is that the science of reading is not something that you can teach. It's an understanding that informs your teaching. So it's not something that we can produce and take and give to teachers to do. It's something that we have to constantly have a conversation about and recalculate and reevaluate and make adjustments along the way. So this will be a process. It's not an overnight change. So I just appreciate with the teachers and with all the faculty and the board, your understanding of this process. Question?
Who makes up the reading, writing, listening, and speaking?
So we offered the committee to one representative from each grade level. We have, at the high school, they actually took one grade level, but a content level person. So at the high school, it's broken in by English, science, social studies, and math, because literacy is integrated in all content areas. Then we have some of our L teachers, special ed based on different progression within the district. We have administration, AIS teachers, and our literacy coaches.
So starting there.
You had mentioned that Harvard recommended so strongly that literacy coaches should be instituted. Who
That's
exactly?
research. That's a piece of research that's been evaluated within the 50 years of research.
Okay, but who are? First of all, we have literacy coaches in our district.
Yes.
Who are they? Are they teachers? Are
One is a former teacher turned literacy coach, Kim Eichel,
Mm-hmm.
and Bryn Allies. She was another great hire from another district.
She a teacher as well?
She is a secondary teacher.
So there's only 2 literacy coaches in our entire
Yes.
district.
One for elementary, one for secondary.
Is that enough? I mean, I don't know. I don't have that experience, but it
It's
just,
worked well for 2 years.
yeah.
We just started that a few years ago.
Okay,
To see
so-
how
Okay,
they are bombarded with
lot,
working with
yeah,
teachers
yeah.
and teachers saying, hey, how do I do this?
Okay.
Watch me teach and show me how to teach this. So
okay.
their schedules are.
So we have room to grow and learn. Okay.
How does this, what's the vision for success? You know, like how does this integrate? So what's the measurable? I come from a world of KPIs, key performance indicators. 2 years from now, 5, but what is the goal? What is the goal? What are the
Our
costs?
KPIs are called state report cards. So they do have measures based on student performance of where, at a minimum, what we have to meet and then what your goals are. So they quantify data based on levels like 1 through 4 for K 3 through 8 testing in the different content areas, and through regions it's levels 1 through 5. So depending on that, and then they do disaggregated data based on that, based on different subgroup levels. So in order for a district to maintain good standing, they have to meet the sanctions of state at those cutoff points. So and that's for all subgroups, not just.
But is the hope that this new program will increase? Are
That
there,
we will use the science of reading to redevelop and restructure our curriculum, yes.
and somehow at some point we'll be able to look back on this day and say,
We've come a long way.
we've created change, we've done something.
Yeah. And we look at not just state report card, that's the ultimate measure. Every district wants to be good standing all the time. You do have subgroups that do, like, oftentimes our special education might not be as performing as what we like to, or, some subgroup of our gen ed population. That's what the state comes back with, their measure of data. Our data points are also diagnostic. We talked about Nuzella doing formative assessments for us. So that tells the teacher how in line are we with our state requirements for state standards. Those are being measured all the time. Our IXL program measures math and ELA. And within ELA, there's subgroups within that. So our teachers are constantly evaluating benchmark data. So there's multiple points within the year that teachers will meet. Our MTSS structure, which is our multi-tiered systems and supports, allows for us to constantly look at that data and have discussions with teachers as teams and to identify students who might need more intervention. That's where your AIS supports will come in, or if there's behavior management that's interfering with the student's ability to learn in the classroom, where we work as teams to get those databases up to par. So there's a lot of dynamic movements. It's not just nuts and bolts at the end of the day. It's human
I
beings.
understand.
Yeah.
We're dealing with humans. Is this generally kind of a new process overall, or are there other schools that have been doing this for several years that we can look at and say, gee, we've seen success and we can expect the same kind of success, or anything like that?
So in our BIC meeting, which is our BOCES instructional team meeting, we talked about, I shared that we had started a team after we all were part of this cohort group. So they're jumping on board. I know schools have PLC groups that constantly look at data. So it's not a new practice of having a reading, writing, listening, and speaking team to evaluate your literacy. It's new, I would say, here as a K-12 experience.
I'm fine being on the cutting edge. Like, if
Yeah.
you're saying we're ahead of the game, that
Yeah.
makes me just as happy. I'm just asking if
Yeah.
there's anything that we can do.
I've asked other teams, so I've had other districts ask if they can come see what we're doing. Because right now, the state has said, we're gonna develop a framework for you to evaluate your reading and writing. So that could be a year from now, we don't know. So how do you even evaluate, what is the state expecting? It's the only thing we have to evaluate it against is our standards. So that's what we're using to evaluate, plus a report card outcomes. It's kind of we're in that weird moment right now with the state because we've jumped ahead and we have a group that's meeting and talking about this as K-12 with all the other components of teachers involved. So we're looking at a worldview of our district. So we do have other districts interested to see what's happening. I would say that right here.
Thank you. What are you gonna do with that?
For math.
I'm kidding.
All right, let's do reading
It's a
right.
joke, it's a joke.
Math will come with reading.
One of the underlying also themes throughout the research is that all students can learn to read. So when we talk about reading benchmark levels, we have a lot of students in this district that have special needs, where our English language learners population is increasing. So what this research also says is that every student can and will learn to read. Now you need to look at the research and the best way to support them. Just because we've always taught this way doesn't mean we continue to teach this way. Now we're going to dig into the research and analyze what we teach and how we teach it to make sure it's better and that we're reaching all students. Because we have benchmark levels for student reading along the way, but we have to make sure our students are hitting those benchmarks. And those benchmark levels go from level A to level Z+. But if our students can't, for example, if they can't reach level M, they can't read a job application. So what are we doing to teach them in different ways to bring up those reading levels and make sure that we are turning out students in society that can read?
Oh, just one quick point. It is called the science of reading. And I know there's a lot of hoopla. What about writing? They did acknowledge that, yes, this is primarily reading data. 50 years of this, that's what they focused on. But writing was a large component of learning to read. So they didn't forget about writing. They didn't forget about speaking and listening. We certainly didn't as a committee. We're looking at reading, writing, listening, and speaking because they're all integrated. So that's one thing that maybe they'll come up with science of writing eventually. But just want to make sure that Ms. Moore's misunderstood. They did acknowledge that. All right, any other questions? So we have an exciting high school presentation.
I think I leave maybe next.
Oh, middle school, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I do the short story.
All right, so, do you want me to?
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you. Next presentation, we have our secondary principals building report, starting with Ms. Clark.
So thank you for having us here. I have two wonderful students with me that are going to help me with this as we go through. I'll introduce them as they go. Before we even start, just to ad-lib for a second, I just want to say thank you to everybody. We talked about how we had the Washington, D.C. trip last week. It was an unbelievably successful trip. I mean, Mr. Decker said in the 10 years he's gone, he's never had such a great group of students go, and what a wonderful time. And honestly, I've had people reach out from other districts and they're like, how do you make it work that you can take all of your kids to Washington, D.C.? Like, we don't get field trips like that. Like, how are you making it? I'm like, I don't know. But they make things happen for students in Port Jervis. And so thank you for that. It really is just an amazing time. So thank you. To talk a little bit about the middle school, obviously we have a lot of transition going on and exciting things moving forward, but kind of wanted to talk about things that we've been going through and experiencing this year. So some of the topics we're going to cover, I'm going to go through our middle school mission and vision. We have promoting positivity. I did have the slide labeled PBIS. I run through our presentation with my oldest daughter. She's like, Mom, I don't know what that means. I'm like, it's like positive behavior incentive system. She's like, no, just write positivity. I'm like, all right, promoting positivity, good. Community things that we've done, what Port Jervis Middle School offers for our students, some communication and academic pieces to talk about. So our mission and our vision and goals, last year we put together a large leadership team in the building, and we just, immersed ourselves in data from surveys, from parents, from students, from teachers, internal data, discipline data, attendance data, and everything else, and we poured over it for days. And as a building, we came up with these visions and goals. So we came up for the year to commit to improving student outcomes through rigorous and consistent instructional practices, and that we also commit to providing a safe environment for students, families, and staff through clear and consistent expectations and consequences. So this has been something that every faculty meeting, every time I'm in a team meeting, whatever we're talking about, we present and we revisit this. So it's been what the middle school has been going through this year. One of our big things to kind of align with that is, yes, PBIS. We've been promoting positivity. We've had character ed assemblies. I actually think this number is wrong because I put the numbers together, I think, a week or so ago, but at the time we had 83 staff and student nominations. So each month, Mr. Wilson runs our character ed program, and each month there is a new character trait. This month is friendship. On Wednesdays we wear red. We're aligned with the high school. Kids get like a treat in the cafeteria. Sometimes if they're walking down the high school and high school has treats out, they double dip and get treats if they're wearing red, so good for them. But then our students and staff can be nominated for displaying those characteristics. And we honor the students, we celebrate them. We'll have like a recess assembly, call the kids down, and just let them know, hey, listen, we recognize the great things that you're doing. So that's one of the things that we've done to promote positivity. We talked to you guys before about class equity, which has been a great program for us. We've had so far 3 events where we've incorporated class equity, and just a reminder, that's our digital cash system where kids can earn money digitally to buy tangible things, right? A ticket to the dance. We've got a store that's got like fidgets and a bunch of stuff with it. So we've been using that a lot every day. Teachers use it and staff use it, but then we've had some bigger events. One of them was, we'll call it Throwing Kindness. A bunch of us got pied in the face multiple times. So that was fun and very smelly, I didn't realize. But yeah, so Throwing Kindness, kids could buy, I think it was 150, 200. Did you buy somebody? No, just okay. 200 class equity bucks, and a bunch of teachers volunteered. I was up there, and we got pied in the face again. Kids earned a lot of money because there was a lot of pie. So that was one of the events we had. We did an academic spirit week, which is our first one ever. For that, throughout the week, we recorded attendance. It was 7th grade versus 8th grade. So they would win a point each day, whatever grade had the best attendance. We also had like a be prepared. So our math teachers would tally how many kids in their class were prepared. And we defined being prepared as bringing a charged Chromebook, a pen, a pencil, something to write with, their binder, and making sure that you're in class on time, ready to learn. So the math teachers each day would tally how many students, the percent of their class that was prepared, and then again, whatever class won, they got a point at the end of the week for being the most prepared. We had trivia in the cafeteria. It was old school trivia. They had to fill it out on paper. So we had 10 multiple choice questions where kids would go through and kind of tally, and we looked at the end to see which grade won or at the most trivia. And then at the end of the week, and I'll kind of move ahead, I'll come back to this, but we held an assembly. So and they actually were like going into this tied at one point in time with points. But at the end of the week, we did minute to win it challenges. We did 7th versus 8th grade, and then we had to add staff in too because it's fun. So staff competed as well. And it really was an awesome time. I mean, if I showed you the video of the kids just screaming each other on and really excited for the different events going on there, it was a lot of fun. And then ultimately at the end, we had a winner. it was 8th grade, they won ice cream. But it was a very cool academic spirit week. We also had, and I talked to you about different incentives. So we have teams in the middle school, so the teachers are on different teams of teachers. So we've had team incentives. Teachers have own individual incentives, and a lot of that has been with class equity. Again, we have one teacher who, for a certain number of digital dollars, they can buy Hesses for their for the day. They can buy, I think Dunkin' Donuts has been a big hit. So there's a lot of different teacher incentives, like I said, team incentives, and then whole grade incentives. For instance, one day I think ASK was coming down because they had like assemblies going on. It happened to be right during our lunch period, which if you come during middle school lunch, it's not the quietest time of the day. And we have a lot of movement in the hallway, but our students were so well behaved with the little guys walking through that when they were in the cafeteria, we were like, you know what, everybody's getting $10 in their class equity just because we were so impressed with how well behaved they were. And so it's been a nice way to reward kids. We did a kindness week this week. Again, we've had different types of spirit weeks. We have another one coming up in, I think, 2 weeks. We did an empathy exchange, which every student in the morning had a name tag, and then when they came into the cafeteria, they were numbered and they had to sit at different lunch tables. They weren't happy, but they got to meet and talk to different people, and we do it at the beginning of the year just so that they can kind of learn new people and learn about new people and be comfortable in a different situation. We also have positive referrals. We talked a lot about that. At this point in time, we had 159 positive referrals. I know we have more because I processed more this week, but it's a wonderful thing. I think right now in our building, positive referrals, I think, is our number 2 highest. So that's pretty impressive. Pictures. Here's some more pictures of the kids. Oh, I took a screenshot. The top one is the kids screaming. So they were having a good time there. Some class equity stuff. Some of the other things that we've done are community outreach. So I call it It Takes a Village. We had Hashim Garrett come in. He was wonderful. He talks about forgiveness. He meets with our library classes, which is all of the 7th grade students in about 20, there are about 28 students per class or less. And he just talks to them about forgiveness. Every student gets it, or every class that he talks to really gets a different lesson. He gauges it on the students. He knows all the students' names by the end of it. It's a really humbling experience. If you've never seen him, please look him up. I'll be brief. I told Mr. A to kind of pull me after a little bit. But he really, he was in a gang, had a lot happen to him. He just has a powerful story. We have Breaking the Cycle that comes in and talks to all of our 8th graders. We've had community partners, so we've been blessed in Port Jervis to have ADAC right in our building now. They've done some events during lunch for us. Ms. Holtz has been wonderful reaching out to our kids. She came to our classes. They created journals and just talked about peer pressure and making good choices. We had a member of the Tri-State Barbershop come in. You can see in the picture, he came right into the lunch, talked to the kids about a career and making, again, good choices. What does that mean? Making decisions that are going to lead you to a positive, successful life. Lizzie's Creations down in Port Jervis has been helping us out a lot, and she's with our Stepping Up ceremony, she's coming to help. We had New Century Film come in. They did calligraphy with our students. They were in our world language classes. We have Bethel Woods that has been coming in once a week to do art therapy for about an hour and a half with about 10 students. That's happening the next couple of weeks, which is awesome. And we are going to have the saxophone lady, which I heard is like a TikTok phenom if you love the saxophone. So she's coming in too. Each of these people out in the community, when they leave, we give them a Port Pride 5 banner is what I'm going to call it, to hang, or poster board to hang in their business, because we want our kids going into businesses and we want our kids to be like, wait a minute, I'm hearing the same message as school, now I'm seeing it here. We want the whole community involved with that. And honestly, one of the best things that we have is we have a lot of school-to-school collaboration. We are obviously stuck in the middle, but between having the high school and the elementary school below us, we've been able to do a lot of amazing things. We have students that are going down to read to ASK on a regular basis, classes going down there. We have high schoolers coming down to help us. So it's been really great to collaborate. in that way. All right. Activities. We have a lot of clubs and activities and sports at the middle school. Right now we have, I think, 13 sports. We have currently 23 clubs and growing. We had intramural bowling this year, intramural basketball. New clubs this year were guitar club. We have a debate club, which you'll hear a little bit about. We had enrichment for our L students. If you've noticed our video club, they spend a lot of time putting awesome videos out. The snow day video alone, I think, had more than 19,000 views, which is huge. Our middle school VEX robotics team has done amazing this year. I mean, they've gone all over to compete. The kids are really into it. The team is growing, and they've really done a wonderful job. At the middle school, we have a mentor program, Connect for Success, where we match up students with adults in the building, and those adults check in on those students, right? Are you doing your homework? Do you need to talk? They're forming relationships with them, and with those relationships, the kids want to come to school more. They want to make better decisions. So we've been able to have all of that. Some quick data for you. You can see here, as far as after-school clubs and activities, 61% of our students have gone to at least one club or activity after school, which I think is just awesome. That's a lot of kids. In athletics, we had 254 students so far involved in sports, so that's 64% of our kids, which is huge. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Avery Spears here, who's going to talk a little bit about his experiences with the activities.
My name is Avery Spears, and I'm the Vice President of the 7th Grade Student Council. I'm also a member of Stock Market Club and Debate Club, Gaming Club, Drama Club, and Jazz Band. Before I start, I would like to thank my principal, Mrs. Cook, for inviting me to speak here, and the board for allowing me to be here. I'm here tonight to speak about all the 7th grade activities here at the middle school. Alright, with that being said, some of my favorite things about 7th grade are the middle school dances, assemblies, and after-school activities such as clubs, movie nights, etc. One of my favorite assemblies was when kids were either able to pie a teacher or especially the principal in the face. If a student wanted to pie someone, they would spend class equity coins. As you heard before, class equity coins are the teacher's way of paying students for their outstanding behavior, and with a certain amount of coins, you can pie the principal. Then there's the dances, which are extremely fun, but dancing is not my thing. But I mean, you can never go wrong with a little spontaneous dance party. Anyways, there they would sell chips, water, and a flower for your day for fairly cheap prices. Moving on, we have school movie nights, which, that's all, folks. Moving on, we have the after-school movie nights where the school sells popcorn and water. On the movie night, we watch the movie Hocus Pocus. And then we have the clubs. Two of my favorite clubs that I'm involved in are Stock Market Club and Debate Club. In Stock Market Club, which is hosted by Mr. Kaufman right about over there, left side. In Stock Market Club, we play an online simulator that lets you buy, trade, and sell stocks. And let me tell you, investing in stocks is kind of like a roller coaster, except it's your money on the line. Then there's Debate Club. In Debate Club, we pick something to debate about, and then we debate. But the main reason why I'm doing Debate Club is so I could win in arguments with my mom. Sadly, it hasn't worked yet. Again, thank you for having me, and that concludes my speech about 7th grade.
Keep reading.
And just to say, Avery is one of the best workers we have. He is, I mean, I don't know how many water bottles he sold at our movie night, but they made bank because he just was selling everything out. So excellent job, Avery. Thanks, buddy. All right. Some communication pieces. In the middle school, again, we have teams. So we have asked our teams of teachers to really focus a lot on communication and what we can do for our students this year. We have a contact log that the teams keep. When I looked the other day, it's probably more now. There was 1,755 points of contact home just by our staff. That does not include me or Mr. Boyle. So that's how many phone calls and emails have been sent from our teachers this year. which is good. We're a building of about 396 kids. So that's how many right now that we've made. Our teams have been calling students in, so they have team time. They'll call a student in to celebrate successes with them, but at the same point, they say if a student's failing a class, they're gonna call them in and talk as a team. How can we help you? How can we support you? We're all in this together. Our teams held assemblies. One of the things that, again, our goals were to be consistent and clear with our expectations. So we have the teachers that held their own assemblies with their team of students that came down, and they talked about what are our expectations as a team. All the teachers on the team got together and said, this is what we expect you to bring to class. This is what it's gonna look like each day in class. Here is what our routine is gonna be. This is how you need to follow the rules. And then they are holding assemblies with the kids to reiterate that point. We have Student of the Month where the kids are recognized each month. The teachers are able to, again, nominate students. One of the things that we did this year was instead of just giving a certificate, each teacher is writing a quote or something about that student as to why they're being nominated, and then other teachers can add in. So some kids are getting like 3 and 4 quotes on it from different teachers that are saying, hey, look, this I recognize even if I had them the year prior, some of the great things that they were doing. We have weekly newsletters. We've tasked the teachers with, again, constant communication. I'll give you some examples. Our teams get together and they send out a newsletter to all of their parents on the team. The newsletter includes any homework assignments, upcoming assessments. They can include the learning target for each day. And again, this is done on a weekly basis. So here's some examples. You'll see that they also have announcements in there, like joining the PTA or dates to remember. So they get together and they collaborate on this, and then we have team liaisons that kind of blast that out to all the parents so the parents know exactly what's going on in class. And then we also have our academics. This year in the middle school, we have added honors courses. So we always had Regents level algebra and Regents level living environment in 8th grade, but we added in 7th grade honors ELA and math. And then in 8th grade, we also added honors ELA and math. So we've added a lot more of those academic courses, raising our rigor. We've asked our teachers to give common assessments. So if you teach the same subject matter at the same grade level, 4 times a year, you're giving the same test and then going back and analyzing that data. Okay, what did maybe my students struggle with that yours did well? Is there something we need to revisit? Where are our successes? Something we can move on with? I have some high honor roll and honor roll numbers there for you. And again, we already talked about Spirit Week, but at this time I'm going to hand it over to Sam, who's going to talk, he's in 8th grade, he's going to talk a little bit about his experiences and his academics in the middle school. Ready, Sam?
Hello, my name is Sam Yansu. I'm an 8th grade student at Rivers Middle School. I would like to thank the Board of Education for choosing to have me here. And I'm here to talk about honors classes. I'm in each one of them, which is algebra, honors ELA, honors social studies, and living environment, which is honors science. I'm happy that I'm ahead in all these classes, like above my peers in my grade. I'm in 8th grade, but currently learning in on a 9th grade level in all these classes, and I will be able. I'll be able to take the Regents this year because I'm learning at a high school level in all these classes. Originally, I lived in the Bronx instead of Fort Jervis, where I attended an advanced government school. So when I moved here, I was very happy to hear that they had advanced classes, so I could still be challenged and on a higher level and at a pace that I had adapted to when I was little. But out of all my high school level classes, my favorite one right now is Fred, which is taught by Mr. Wilson. Even in my old school, which was an advanced school, they did not have any language learning classes. So I'm very happy that they have opportunities like that in this school. It helps with your cognitive abilities and, of course, your ability to communicate. So I'm very happy that they've given me the opportunity, as well as my peers, to learn that. And next year, 7th graders will be able to learn French for 10 weeks. So I'm also very happy that the 7th graders will be able to share this opportunity that I have been given by Fort Jervis Middle School. So again, I'd like to thank the Board of Education for having me here. And
French test. I'm actually just gonna, for a second, I kind of want to recognize Sam here. If Mr. Wilson can come up. So Sam was our only middle schooler who ever took a national French test. I'm gonna let Mr. Wilson say it
Sure.
better than I will.
Yeah, so I mean, I've only been here for 3 years now, but in my knowledge, I don't think Edport has ever offered the Grand Concours to anybody. So it's sponsored by the American Association of Teachers of French, and it's a national French contest. So you choose the level in which the student is learning French, and then they generate this test. You have to give it to him on his free time. So he decided to use his lunch period and then after school to take each section of the test. So he takes it, we review, but there are topics that we don't have time to cover before the test. So Sam actually took a test with information that he's never learned before. But what's really amazing about Sam is that he really has a thirst to learn, right? More, and he wants to be challenged constantly. I've never heard a kid say, "Hey, Mr. Wilson, can I tell you that I mastered a new skill last night?" Like, it's the cutest thing, right? He's going home and he's teaching himself German, he's learning French. It's really amazing. So I wanted to enrich and give him this opportunity to brag a little bit, because he's so amazing. So Sam didn't know I was gonna do this tonight, and Sam doesn't know that he actually earned a bronze medal, so he ranked. Out of 9,444 kids taking this test, he wasn't just an honorable mention. You can earn platinum, silver, and bronze, and Sam earned a bronze. So that's amazing. So we have the certificate from the association. So Sam, here we go. And then I wanted to give him a little gift, so I actually have my high school French verb book, which we talked about today, right? And a cool little comic book. So there you go.
That's going to conclude us for the middle school, I have to say. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for coming up. These two have been excellent. They actually both, when we were talking about, talking at the board meeting and everything, I said, okay, I'll meet with you up here. You write something up. When do you want to meet? And both of them said, I don't really want to miss class. Can we meet during lunch? And I'm like, okay. I was not anticipating that for sure. I could pull you out any class, but yeah, all right. But they were great. So another round of applause for these guys. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Great job. Nice job, thank you. So now, next up, we have Mr. Lazaro, who has to follow that. Welcome, Mr. Lazaro, principal of the high school, and his tenure is depending on this. There you go.
And I know the vote didn't happen yet, right? All right. All right, so I will say just, it has been, to echo Eileen, it's been tremendous to work in the same building as the middle school, because it really allows us to see see the kids before they get to us and look at the culture. We build a lot of things together, so there'll be some crossover here, but it's really been a good experience to have that dialogue and have the middle school in the building. To get started. All right. So historically, when I've come up here, it's been a lot. Like, I've shared a lot of data, numbers, and what's happening in the building. And we'll do some of that tonight, but I wanted to start with our why, right? So first off, we have a tremendous faculty and staff, right? There's this tremendous collective effort in building culture. Dr. Bell had referenced earlier, post-COVID was challenging, right? It's been a challenge, and it's been a rebuilding across the country, right? So part of our rebuilding, I shared the discipline in terms of how it's gone down. I'm not going to get too deep into discipline data at all. I'm going to tell you that we're down another 30% in referrals, and our most processed referral is a positive referral. So most times when a kid walks through the office, it's because they're getting a positive referral. That's the highest frequency. The what, we'll get into some of the data, and we have a lot of the who here tonight. So we're going to have a couple of students share some of their experiences, because at the end of the day, we talk about the numbers, but they're really kids, right? They're kids and people and students. So our why, right? So I had an opportunity to talk to the staff earlier in the year, and we talked about this notion. We finished last year talking about collective efficacy, right? The research shows, we talked about research earlier, research shows that the most effective way to change a school is through collective advocacy. It has the greatest rate of change. And at the beginning of the year, and I forget, Dr. Bella, is if this book comes from The Power of Positive Leadership or from Good to Great, but the task was pick your word, right? Your why. So what motivates you? I actually think it comes from positive leadership. So if you gave me another book tonight, I'll listen to that when I need to. I'm getting older. It's hard to read. Those little words. So I will say that I asked the staff collectively, hey, give me your why. What's your word? And I took the 5 most frequent words that was shared with me, right? And these are them: connections, compassion, empower, growth, and success. And then we started pressing that against the flywheel. The concept of the flywheel, again, a research process, right? This is a process by Jim Collins. It's from the book that is From Good to Great. And it's the practice of 3M, Amazon, all the great Fortune 500 companies. They developed their vision through this procedure. So we started, I took the words that the teachers had given me, and I gave it back to them. I said, here are the 5 most frequent words. I'm going to ask that you write a vision statement with your department. So we sat down in a faculty meeting, and they wrote these vision statements. I then sat with the vision statements, we distilled them together, and ultimately I placed them on the flywheel. And we begin and end with the idea of empowering students and staff. Right, so behind this flywheel are many of the things that Natasha had spoken about earlier regarding MTSS and the science of reading. All those things push this flywheel along. But ultimately, it's moving through this flywheel that's led to success. The highlight tonight that I'd like to share with you is this idea of rigor, challenging curriculum instruction. So your support over the year, we've added a lot of college courses, and I just want to show what that's yielded from a number perspective. Right? You can see last year we had, you see the numbers, right? So last year, 31% of our seniors were in college classes. This year, we have 50% of our seniors taking a college class, at least one, many taking multiple. We have an additional 100 students this year taking college coursework, right? So when we talk about rigor, that's the outcome of that. When we talk about college and career ready, I'll go back to that seniors. 50% of our seniors are taking a college course. 20% of our seniors are in CTEC, not taking a college course, but they're getting career preparation. So that represents 70% of our senior population, again, college and career ready. As far as our juniors, you see that right now we have 32%, over 30%, we have another 32% in CTEC, not taking college courses, but getting that support. And then some of those will go on to take some college courses next year. So we're seeing that number grow. We're going to continue to work on that number. So that's the goal again, and that's been your support has allowed us to do those things. Dr. Walkowitz had referenced pathways. So the ARC pathway, this is just an example of a student who would choose to go that ARC pathway. That's a New York State pathway toward graduation. And I can't read the numbers from here, so I'm going to step back here. So you can see they can take these ARC courses, and they would land with 27 high school credits and 52 college credits in this scenario, going through the 4 years of our high school. We have students this year who are graduating with somewhere in the 40 credit range. We had students last year. We have one tonight who will speak to you about her experiences. So at this point, I'm going to go back. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Anaya Green. So you know Anaya Green, obviously, from the board. Anaya is going to speak as a junior and some of her experiences relative to this. So Anaya, would you work right here to my grade?
Hello, as you all know, my name is Anaya. I'm a current student at Port Jervis High School, and listed above are the courses that I have taken or am taking now or plan to take next year. And overall, I will be projected with a total of 41 college credits. Through the years, I've been taking these courses, and I have learned challenging workloads that will definitely help me when I get to college, and very good time management, because I am involved in many sports and activities, including track and field, youth coalition, varsity club athletes, helping the athletes, and representing our junior class on the school board. And that's all I have written down. I'm sure there's more. And I've had many different opportunities through the school and prepare me for my future when I get to college. And even if these colleges don't take the credits that I plan on going to, I will be open with more knowledge than I would just blindly going into a random course, especially in areas that I struggle with like math. I have just been supported by the greatest teachers in the world, honestly. And I'm just very happy that I'm taking these classes through these teachers, and not even just the teachers, my guidance counselor, who I meet with honestly every day, and she's probably tired of me now, but she's really helped me, and I'm glad she's my guidance counselor, so shout out to Ms. Bailey. It's also helped me like narrow down my college career, because I have been going back and forth between education and some sort of psychology, and I narrowed it down to social work because I do really want to help students and kids, and our social worker here at the high school, Ms. Frismer, has really helped me, and she's just awesome, and she's inspired me to want to help others just like she has. And I also want to go back to talking about my experiences and
Miss Jenna Waller-Gross.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm a 2023 graduate, and I'm currently attending Mount St. Mary College, where I'm majoring in English with a concentration in adolescent and special education. When I graduated here from Port, I graduated with 36 college credits, and they all successfully transferred as either an equal or a free elective, checking off many gen eds and requirements for my undergrad. I took a variety of these classes that were offered here through Syracuse and AUK, and they are listed. I had a positive experience taking these classes here, and they prepared me for college in numerous ways. One being time management. College classes have a heavier workload, as many of us know. I'm always juggling multiple assignments, projects, and exams. But going into college, I was prepared to handle this workload because I had taken numerous college courses at once in high school. I automatically knew how to budget my time so that I wasn't spreading myself thin or cramming, studying, and completing assignments. I have taken 6 courses each semester thus far, which is a lot to handle. Except it wasn't much of a change from what my high school schedule looked like. Therefore, I was familiar with what the workload entailed, and I handled it very well, ending my first semester with a 3.7 GPA. Going into college, I had already been exposed to the expectations regarding the coursework itself. Professors expect a lot of critical thinking and independent studying, which is another thing I was already exposed to with taking these courses here at the high school setting. And to wrap it up, taking 36 credits in high school has benefited me in many ways, as you have just heard. I'm even a year ahead in my 5-year program, resulting in me obtaining my master's degree in 4 years, which is allowing me to save time and money in the long run. Thank you.
So again, I wanted to share with you, maybe we're cheating a little and grabbing someone who's no longer a Port Jervis student, but it really goes to show all the things that we do here and what you have supported, and one of the results of that. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Heidi Knight.
So ready to vote.
It's really hard to put it. Here you go. Do I sell it? Is this going to affect the vote? I wrote
You really can't get out much. Thank you, Mr. Lazaro, and nice job, ladies. And good evening, board. Tonight I have the pleasure of sharing on how our students are involved outside of the classroom. In addition to being scholars, our students are talented athletes, creative artists, accomplished musicians, and community partners. The Port Jervis athletes have displayed their talents among 30 teams on the soccer and football fields, the tracks, tennis courts, basketball courts, wrestling mats, volleyball courts, softball, and baseball diamonds. They have won numerous competitions, games, championships, and sportsmanship awards throughout the year. We have outstanding participation with our freshman class leading with the highest number of participation in all of our seasons. So we're confident that our athletic programs are going to continue to grow. We've had 7 fall and 6 winter teams named to the New York State Scholar Athlete teams for their combined GPAs, with combined averages that range from 92 to over 106. And we are certain that we're going to add some as our spring sports continue. Our music departments continue to grow and shine under the direction of Mrs. Gordon and Mrs. Long, with a total of 98 students from all grades participating in musical coursework and productions. In addition to concert band, symphonic band, concert choir, chamber choir, our students also have had the opportunity to be enrolled in musical theater and college fundamentals of music to offer advanced musical studies and experiences. Mrs. Long and Ms. Gordon also instruct countless lessons throughout each day, along with their scheduled classes. And each year we all head to the spring musicals and we say, this is the best one we've ever seen. And then the next year comes, we're like, wow, that blew us away again. And that's the best one we've ever seen. And I'm certain that we can all say that for all of our productions this year, from our junior productions to our high school productions. We're grateful for the commitment of our students, our staff, our parents, and our community volunteers. We know the dedication and hours that go into making those shows outstanding each year. Our students are also excelling in the art program, and I believe we have some friends of Port Jervis here to share, but I had to add this brag slide because we do have some wonderful champions to be announced later this evening. Our clubs and activities continue to grow. As indicated by the chart, we have countless extracurricular opportunities for our students to participate in, from mock trial to knitting club, and lots of options in between. This year, we've had 263 students, or 36% of our high schoolers, taking advantage of our extracurriculars, along with our athletic programs. This offers our students an opportunity to participate in additional contests, competitions, as well as community projects. And the research continues to validate that students that are involved in their schools in extracurricular activities give them a greater sense of belonging, higher attendance rates, and greater grades. So we continue to strive to help to make our students get connected here at school. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Jessica Sang. And Jessica is another example of a student that checks all the boxes. Jessica is a scholar. She's an athlete, she's an artist, and she's also part of our E&L program, and she's one of the hardest young women that I've had the opportunity to work with.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Sang. I'm a junior at Port Jervis High School, and my first language is Khmer. I currently have 15.25 credits. In addition to the traditional junior classes, I'm also enrolled in college drawing, SAT, English, and math. At the end of the year, I will have 7 college credits, 4 credits from my current college drawing class, and 3 additional credits that I have obtained through Marist College last summer when I took creative writing. I will have 21.5 high school credits heading into my senior year. I'm also a Port Jervis athlete. I have participated in track and field, tennis, and soccer. In my free time, I love participating in after-school activities and community service projects. Mr. Salato, my guidance counselor, who had supported me throughout the years, encouraged me to get involved in student activities when I entered 9th grade. I have been a member of Youth in Government, Emergency Club, DECA, the Art Club, Haunted House, and all class events over the past 3 years. As of today, I have 287 community service hours, which I have obtained through a variety of ways. I keep track of these hours on Passport for Good. One volunteer opportunity that I had was with Mr. Cancredi, who I first met when I fell backwards in my seat and hit my head in the cafeteria. I quickly became Mr. Cancredi's favorite. After my freshman year, he allowed me to assist in the elementary school summer school program where I earned 100 hours of community service. I assist at kindergarten, middle school, and freshman orientation, open house, and parents-teacher conferences. I have attended 5 honors flights. Mr. Murata had entrusted me to open and close his beloved koi pond and to keep the fish alive in his courtyard. Don't worry, they're still alive. Another passion that I have is raising money. I raised over $1,000 for my class selling strawberries.
I appreciate all of the supports from the teacher, administrators, and you too, Dr. Bell. I will be around soon to take all your money again. I thank you all for giving me and my classmates such an amazing opportunity to reach our individual goals. We appreciate you supporting us both in and out of the classroom.
Good job, thank you. All right, finally, our last piece of this tonight is we talked about the clubs. We have a new club that started over the last year. Again, we appreciate being able to do that. So we have from that club 3 of our students have come, guys. We have Kylie Parisi, David White, and Destiny Murphy, and they're going to share with you a little bit about the emergency service club as well as a project you have upcoming, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Guys, I'm hold this. I'm just going to slide. Ask you to open that link. See if you can. Oh, it didn't. Can you? I just have to log in and out again. I'll be real quick. I promise.
Hi, my name is Kylie Parisi. I'm a junior, and I'm a part of the Emergency Service Club.
Hi, my name is David White, and I'm a freshman, and I'm part of the EMS Club.
Good evening. My name is Destiny Murphy. I'm a sophomore, and I'm part of the Emergency Service Club. You might be wondering what we learned in the Emergency Club. We learned how to help people in emergency situations.
How we started. We started in March of 2023 by Nurse Weinig. What we do, we learn about emergency situations and how to respond. What we've accomplished. We've accomplished certifying students in CPR, first aid, and Narcan training. Our goals for the future. Our goals for the future would be to have Narcan kits placed by the bathrooms where we would have monitors standing.
Fire prevention. We met with the Port Jervis Fire Department and the Sparrowbush Fire Department and learned fire prevention, including proper use of fire extinguishers and extractions from a car.
Orange and Rockland Utilities. When Orange and Rockland Utilities came to visit us, we learned about environmental emergencies and utility emergencies, such as what to do if a power line falls down or in a power outage, and much more.
Vehicle education. We had Sparrowbush Fire Department come and show us how to use their tools and how to get a person out safely if they get into a car accident.
What we have learned. We've learned CPR and first aid. When we did CPR and first aid, we learned things such as bleeding control, medical emergencies, and how to perform CPR on adult and children, and more.
Vehicle education. We learned how to take the car from the person and not the person from the car.
K9. We learned how dogs are used for search and rescue. Also, dogs go off the newest scent, and they sniff bombs or drugs.
Going forward,
we would like to announce our proposal, emergency overdose kits in our school. You might be wondering where we would place them. Our suggestion is that we place them outside our school bathrooms where there is a monitor station for our safety.
Why? We have numerous students already trained to help. We anticipate more will be trained.
When? Well, we were hoping to get the Narcan kits as soon as possible.
You might be wondering who will have access to this. We anticipate that anybody who is trained in Narcan usage will have the access.
The cost. You guys might be wondering how much this is actually going to cost. Well, we're here to tell you this is actually going to cost $0. ADAC said their supplies to kits were completely free of charge.
Thank you for listening and for your consideration to our proposal. Any questions?
Very good.
I think that's fantastic that you have an EMS club. As a retired nurse, I'm sorry I didn't think of it when I worked in the That's really fantastic. They're life skills that you'll always use. And the Narcan's a really good idea. It needs a little tweaking in terms of legalities, but you guys are really on the right track. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And right now, CTEC, BOCES has it in there, right? So it's actually going into districts. They went to, you had a chance to see that, or at least Ms. Weineck did. So Ms. Weineck had organized this. This club has been put on with partnership, and that's what's tremendous about Port Jervis with Chief Warden and Deer Park. So we're really excited that we can offer this, again, a brand new club to our school. And so again, thank you. Great job, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, really good.
So I got nothing else to break or say. Again, thank you all for supporting our students. Thank you for the tremendous opportunities that you've allowed us to take advantage of, our students to take advantage of. We're excited about the direction we're going in. We're going to continue to build that culture. But again, we all appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you to all the buildings and the students who presented tonight. There's definitely no shortage of opportunities in the district. Thank you for sharing. Next up, we have a couple of people signed up for public comment. I do believe they are presenting together. Mary Alice Kovach and Denise Hulse.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mary Alice, and this is Denise. For those of you who don't know us, we work at ADAC, Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County, and we are delighted to be here to talk to all of you and to talk to you about our partnership with the ADAC Impact Program. So we are proud to be partnering with the Port Jervis City School District on this innovative new approach to substance use and mental health prevention. Through this initiative called ADAC Impact, and IMPACT is an acronym, we love acronyms, it's an acronym for Improving Mindsets, Policies, and Communities Together. ADAC will place highly skilled prevention specialists in school districts across Orange County. We have 6 partner school districts as of right now. These prevention specialists will provide universal prevention education to all students as well as faculty and community members. The prevention specialists will also promote healthy living by implementing evidence-based programs, practices, presentations, disseminating information, and awareness campaigns relating to substance use and mental health. They will also implement an early intervention program called Teen Intervene, an internationally recognized early intervention model for youth who are at risk of or experiencing mild to moderate negative consequences from substance use. The prevention specialists will be embedded in the school district and become a part of the school culture, fostering relationships with students and staff alike in an effort to lower the likelihood of youth engaging in problematic substance use. The prevention specialist for the Port Jervis City School District is Denise Hulse, and I will turn it over to her to introduce herself.
Thank you, Mary Alice, and thank you, Board, for allowing us to speak. So I am no stranger to Port Jervis, born and raised here, graduated in 1988. I am also an Orange Ulster BOCES graduate, so I love the vocational opportunities that are here in our district. I absolutely love that. As of January 16th of this year, I did in fact become the prevention specialist for the Port Jervis City School District. I have been volunteering and have had a lifelong passion for volunteering pretty much my whole life. I have been a volunteer for the Eldred School District as well as the Port Jervis City School District for many years, costuming all district shows for all grade levels for 10 years. In addition, I was a PJHS PTSA secretary and also a president. I was a coordinator for various community fundraisers, photographer for school events, community events, and ADAC events, PJYFL cheerleading coordinator and assistant cheerleading coach, Red Ribbon Week bow maker, and volunteer for ADAC. I received many awards for my volunteer work, including Port Pride Award that I was awarded by Mr. Murata in 2015. Go Port. ASK Performing Arts Award, and Orange County Citizen of the Month from Steve Newhouse. My work in ADAC began as a volunteer, and my desire to be more hands-on and have direct contact with the much-needed important work that ADAC does led to a part-time position as program assistant. I will tell you that, funny story, I was at the office and I was there volunteering, and I just felt like I ran the place basically, and I just went and came and went as I wanted to, and did all the things that I was volunteering for. And the executive director, Jim Conklin, calls me into his office, and I thought, maybe I'm overstepping my boundaries. Maybe I don't think I should have the keys to the palace or something. But he invited me in, and he said, we have an opening. How would you like to interview for a part-time position? And I said, okay, well, I do a lot of stuff. All right, part-time, that's it. I do not want to work full-time, part-time, that's it. So I held that position as the program assistant for almost 2 years, where I was the poster and essay contest coordinator, and I worked closely with the 16 school districts throughout Orange County, as well as Red Ribbon Week coordinator. When the impact position was offered for Port Jervis, I decided to take a leap of faith and concentrate my efforts full-time in my hometown. And those words, I needed to eat them, because now I am full-time and loving every minute of it. So that leap of faith led me to an interview, which had to be conducted both at ADAC and at the school level. And I am now very happy in my position. I have completed many trainings in the field of alcohol and drug awareness, social emotional skills, harm reduction, all with a strong focus on youth and community. I am highly motivated, high energy, and eager to continue my role as the new prevention specialist for the Port Jervis City School District. Wow, that's a mouthful. So anybody can reach me. I do have a work phone, I do have a work email, but we have a website and all that information is on there. I just want to thank Port Jervis for giving me this opportunity to bring my feet back into the place that I've always known as home. I love this district. I love this community. I have a passion for the youth in this community, and I could make me cry talking about it, but it feels like home every time I walk in this building, and I have a pep in my step and joy in my heart, knowing that I'm doing the things that I love and hopefully making an impact, pun intended, to the district. So thank you very much for having me, allowing me to speak, and allowing me this position in the district. Thank you very much.
Take the opportunity really quickly. So Mrs. Nyland mentioned about the 3 grand prize poster contest winners. So our poster and essay contest, I think I could say, I'm fairly certain it's probably the longest running outside of school art competition that goes on in Orange County. This is the 37th continuous year of our poster contest, and 6 years ago we added an essay component. This year we received 1,583 posters from 18 individual schools representing 11 districts across Orange County, and just under 300 posters, or just under 300 essays. So the tally of prizes just from Port Jervis, and I do want to say that Port Jervis is the only district in Orange County that the entire art department uses this contest as part of their curriculum. Every single student makes a poster, and there's a discussion about why we do this. And we are just so grateful for the partnership that we have with Port Jervis. So we award 9 grand prizes altogether across multiple categories, 1st through 12th grade. This year we have 3 grand prizes from Port Jervis High School. They are Gabriela Pilarski, so she had a grand prize poster in Spanish digital submission. Kaylee Makarenko, grand prize Spanish hand-drawn. And Julia Elston, who is the 2nd recipient of our brand new Lori Hall Memorial Poster Award. The first one was also awarded last year to a Port Jervis High School student. In addition, we have 3 first place prizes, 2 second place prizes, 4 third place prizes, and 47 honorable mentions. So we're recognizing a little over 150 students, and about 50 of them are from Port Jervis, and that is because of the tremendous participation that this district has in this awareness campaign. Also, our theme this year was developed by one of the 6th grade students, which is Team Up Together, Be Drug Free Forever. And also, hot off the press, and she doesn't even know this yet, but every year we do a teacher or community appreciation award, and that's usually a secret, but I figured why not do it here tonight. We are awarding our Teacher Appreciation Award to Catherine Stellato for her participation in the essay contest. The reason we are awarding this to her is when we first started the essay contest and opened it up to elementary school students, she had her entire class submit an essay, and every year since, that has grown, and now the entire 6th grade of ASK participates in this essay contest. So we are grateful for her support, the support of the district. We're happy to be here, and we will answer questions if we're not too far over your time. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you. And ADAC is such a big deal in Port Jervis that when we were picking what Fridays to take snow days, Anthony said, we can't do May 10th. That's when we all go to the Paramount for ADAC. So that's why May 10th is not on the agenda tonight.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We're grateful for the opportunity to grow this prevention initiative. It is brand new, backed by evidence and research, and we're hoping that sustainability-wise, prevention will just become such a part of the culture here in the district, and we're excited to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have administrative reports. First, our superintendent of schools, Dr. John Bell.
I promise to keep it very, very brief, just because there's a lot going on. The first thing I want to talk about is the unused snow days. On the calendar tonight, you'll see that we're giving back 3 days. There are 3 unused snow days. So the following Fridays will become no school: May 17th, May 24th, and June 7th. And on May 24th, it will actually be a district-wide closing, so we'll have a 4-day weekend for all the staff. Also, there was a half-day originally scheduled on June 7th, but now that that's a give-back snow day, that half-day for elementary on June 7th will be moved to June 14th. And then there's an additional half-day built in on June 20th, which will allow all the staff the afternoon in preparation, because there's going to be a lot of people packing boxes and moving rooms and moving schools. So we're building that extra time in to get everything boxed up and ready to go. Speaking of boxing everything up, phase 1, which is the conversion of the old middle school to the new East Main Elementary School, everything is moving. It's been an unbelievable task. And without a doubt, the hardest project any of us have ever been a part of. And but we are on schedule. In fact, I did a tally this morning of the 42 classrooms. 28 of them are already painted, and all the cabinetries in them, and the drop ceilings are in, and they're getting ready to put the flooring in. So 28 out of 42 are practically done, and the remainder will be coming in May and June. By the time school ends in June, we should be down to things like blacktopping, landscaping, and some work in the old auditorium. That'll be the last piece of the puzzle. So if anyone tells you it won't be ready in September, we aren't moving, they have no idea what they're talking about. So, that was a nice way to say it. Phase 2, if you look outside, there's a ski mountain in front of ASK out in there, and that is actually the beginning of phase 2. The ASK playgrounds will come out. 3 of the 4 playgrounds sets will move from ASK over to the new elementary school, and 1 is being discarded because it's rather old, and then a new 4th playground set's being purchased. And then out in front where the playgrounds are currently, there'll be a baseball field, a softball field, and a soccer field for middle school sports. Inside the building, we did a lot of work in ASK to make the conversion over to a middle school. We did a lot of work on the week of spring break, and now there's work going on every day after hours on the second shift doing work, and then the bulk of the work, the rest of it will happen in the summer. But the middle school will be ready to go for opening day on September 3rd as well. And then finally, phase 3, which is things like the move of the high school library to a larger location, the renovation of the high school auditorium, the renovations to Chase Field and Gwinnett Field, and the parking lot at statewide oil next to the old middle school. All of those are the things that the voters approved last May, and we received architectural approval this week. We're expecting engineering approval next week, and then final project approval in 2 weeks. And then all that work can commence. If anybody's been near the old middle school, you'll see there's been a lot of work done at Lynette already, because they're stealing dirt from down there to use on the ball fields at ASK. And they also had to cut trees down and things of that nature to get ready for the project. So phase 3 should start probably around right around middle schools. And that's an update from construction. The only other thing that I just wanted to give a shout out to HBE, the 9 students who participated in the Special Olympics at Middletown last weekend. It was really a great event, and thanks to Tanya and the Special Ed staff. It's the first time we participated in the Orange County Special Olympics. I think it's the 8th year, but it's our first time. And we'll be hosting in 2026 and 2027. We'll get to host the county, which will be really great. And then finally, also, I don't think Anaya mentioned it, but I want to give a shout out to Charlie Wiley, who won the silver medal, which is second place in the whole country at the Women's National Championships in Spokane, Washington.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Walkowitz.
Good evening. Our first ever elementary literacy nights at HB and ASK were a success. There's pictures of the events posted on our social media, so go check them out. It was a fun couple nights of literacy, and we have a lot more planned. So thank you to our teachers and staff and our principals and Kim Eichel, who kind of coordinated between the 2 buildings for putting on this event for our community. Our reading committee met on April 15th, and they started their literacy data analysis, and we're going to have a few more and complete a recommendations report to Dr. Bell. Our Ed Committee reports will be read tonight by Ms. Kara Rapp. And our 3-8 testing for ELA math, our 5th and 8th grade science tests, and our NICE Select tests for English language learners have begun. I just want to shout out to our IT department for their quick switch of the switch for saving us on our first day of testing. We did lose power countywide through BOCES, and we did have internet backup immediately, so thank you. It did not interrupt our testing, so I just want to thank you for your quick thinking there. And congratulations to our tenured teachers and principals tonight, and congratulations to our special Olympians. It was such a great thing to see in our district. Thank you.
Just so you know, when we lost the internet, only 4 districts out of the 18 in Orange County had a backup plan that we could flip the switch with the redundancies to have internet. Everybody else waited hours to get their internet when they were in the middle of taking tests on computers. So it was pretty, people were freaking out all over Orange County. So it's a credit to our IT department for having that system.
Thank you. And now presenting our budget presentation is Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. John Tim.
Thank you so much. So tonight you'll be voting and hopefully adopting this year's budget. I will show the proposed budget. Once again, as I always present, I promise full transparency, fiscal responsibility, alignment with district goals, and I'll do this through revealing historical data. So, the state budget, Governor Hochul was due April 1st. And they have not finished. They haven't given us any indication. A lot of information is very vague as to what's coming down the pipe for us. At one point, we were going to get a 3% increase in foundation aid. It seems like they're backing out of that a little bit. Dr. Bell can elaborate on that in a few minutes. In the meantime, what has happened is I reevaluated the budget, and I'll kind of get to some of the items that are increasing the budget. But the budget from last time presented increased $500,000. And the way that I balanced the budget was increasing the fund balance. When I presented the last time, the fund balance appropriation was 1.6, and it is now proposed to be 2.1. If you look, the tax levy is still 29,084,046. It's a 0% tax increase. Pilot stays the same. Right now, state aid is the same. I just increased the fund balance to balance this off. I increased that appropriation. what could happen is, at the worst case scenario is they don't increase any state aid, but any bit of state aid that comes through will decrease the fund balance. So if we get $1 million increase in state aid, I'm taking $1 million off of that appropriated fund balance. The other item in question is the $250,000 from the sale of Thompson Street. If that happens before July 1st, it'll actually go into this year's fund balance. If it happens after July 1st, it'll go into this proposed budget. So it comes in the form of the other revenue. You'll see interest, tuition, BOCES, other. It comes into us as other revenue, which will actually decrease the fund balance another $250,000. So I'm doing this blindly without knowing what's coming down, being told that I have to present this by tonight without a budget. And basically what is the swing in this is this fund balance appropriation. We will not come close to touching that, even if it is at this number. So it's just a plug-in number. It's to balance the budget. Maybe we'll use some of it, but I can promise you we're not going to use $2 million. Any penny that comes back to the district in the form of state aid or the sale of Thompson Street, I will reduce that appropriation by that amount. So that number could be well in the 6 digits, okay? Once again, here's let's see if I forgot anything on there. Once again, this would be the 4th year in a row with the zero tax increase. The budget would increase $5.9 million or 6.53%. And you see that historic back to 2015-16, it's only increased $2 million. And I kind of went over that data the last time. So here are some of the highlights, and I'll actually discuss the one item here that caused mostly the $500,000 increase. We went over most of this, and we had a discussion last time that the budget itself raises because of the debt that we're out. We're out to finance these projects. We go out and we increase our debt. What that does is causes an increase in our expense, but at the same time, it increases our revenue. So both those rise at the same time, which is why we can get away with a 0% tax increase. It's no cost to the district. There's people that come to me, wow, it's getting very large, the budget's getting very large. What you should be looking at is the tax implications. The budget is large because we're going out, Dr. Bell is going out and has these initiatives to make improvements to this district, which causes us to borrow, but at the same time, there's a rise in our revenue through state aid. If we weren't getting 92 cents on the dollar, we wouldn't be doing this. It's causing, and we have formulas, so whatever our debt limit is, we get that same amount in building aid. So it's a wash. And I'm going to give you a heads up, the more work we do, the more this budget's going to grow. It doesn't mean the taxes are going to go up. It's just that we're making improvements, 92 cents on the dollar. 92 cents on the dollar. It's common sense in my eyes. So it is troublesome to explain. I understand. Why is it getting so big? But your taxes aren't going up. Okay. So one other item that is the first bullet, but the item that really increased the $500,000 is the line that says day automation door swipes at the 209 complex. The vision I've had that I've presented for the last 2 years is to go keyless throughout this entire district. Not only is it more functional and accountable, but it is a safety issue. We want law enforcement to be able to swipe into this building with a badge and get through every door in this building or any of the buildings in the district. And it becomes a security issue. If Joe Smith is hired here, we give that person a key and Joe Smith leaves and they don't give back their key, we now have a breach of our security. We can't afford to go rekey all these. We have to worry about whether that person's doing something with that key. We can now just digitally change their access, cut them off through badges. Okay? So here's the end all of this. I consider it a school safety thing. There is aid back out on all these door swipes through BOCES. So for every $100 we spend, well, let me repeat this. 94% of the total project is aidable, and we get 77 cents of the 94%. So every dollar we spend, we get $72 back. So it's costing the district about $28. So it's another low-hanging fruit. It's not the 92% that we're normally getting, but when it comes to school safety, this is the path we should take. We're getting a lot of this money back. So yes, I'm asking for an increase of $500,000. And yes, the project will probably be $1.5 million, but we're getting 1.1 back. To have a keyless school district, you'll see we're going to be trendsetters, like in reading. We're going to be trendsetters, and people are going to come watch our model because I feel I'm passionate about the fact that this is the way our school should be, and have IT be able to manage this through controlling swipes and which doors everybody can get into and who can get in when, etc. So that's pretty much, none of the other items on this has increased as much as the data automation project has throughout the district. So what happened, the reason it actually went up is we locked ourselves in a door with data automation, with IT and buildings and grounds, and said, I think we're missing a couple doors here in terms of swipes. We're not leaving until we have this entire school district has every door that we possibly need. And they did. They found additional doors we kind of mentally walked through. They did a physical walkthrough. We added doors to the project. So hence the increase. So increase in the budget, $500,000, because we now have the appropriate amount of doors. To be honest with you, it was overlooked prior to that. So when we first rolled this out, the rollover budget, as I said, we actually just roll over all the same expenses, but we increase our obligations. It was $94.3 million. The last presentation, minus the $500,000 I'm presenting tonight, was $95.9, and tonight I'm presenting $96,493, $575 is the budget. What happens is there's two things that are attached to this. There's the budget, and then there's the revenue. The budget is what you will actually be hopefully adopting. The revenue I can change. When and if I get state aid, I can change how that is allocated and put into fund balance or not. So, and what's coming up is on May 7th, is the public budget hearing, question and answer. Voter registration day is Wednesday, May 1st at district office, 8 to 4. And what we will have on the budget vote, on the ballot, we'll have a budget that we'll vote on. The school election boards, school board elections are that night. And it says possible, but the propositions will be the sale of Thompson Street, which Dr. Bell will actually cover in further detail some of these items. Phase 4 and Capital Reserve, and the two voter locations are Port Jervis High School and HBE. You want to stop and take questions now, or wait till the end, Dr. Bell?
Take questions now, or you want to wait till I show you the proposition?
I have some questions.
Okay.
Okay, and I understand, I know we didn't do work for a couple of years. So being that we didn't do work on any of the buildings, we didn't have that much of the tax money coming up. So literally you're saying that every time we do work and we do these referendums, our tax base, we're not paying taxes, we're at zero. The other part is going up. So in 2-3 years, we do all the work to our buildings, and it's beautiful. We don't do no more work. Now, how much is our budget? Our budget's gonna be $150 million
Well,
for a school district like this.
The way it works, like John explained it, it'll go up. Whatever that amount is that we borrow, it'll go up on the expenditure side.
Exactly.
And then we get the matching amount of state aid. So we've got it set up so every year, whatever we owe, it's the same amount the state's paying at reimbursing us. So they move together. And then if the bonds are for 15 years, at the end of the 15 years, both would drop at the same time.
Would the amount of the taxes drop along with it?
No, because your revenue and your expenditure, just like your taxes don't go up because of the projects, they wouldn't go down because.
What you're asking for, the 95 million, what you're up to now, 96 million. in 3-4 years, are we gonna be going up to over $100 million in tax base?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it won't impact taxes at all. But it's gonna go up every year, just from your regular costs.
Just because we're doing all the work on campus.
So,
Well, both. I mean, you're gonna have your regular costs too, your salary increases, your healthcare increases,
Right.
and all that stuff. So, and then, but again, just like expenditures and revenues, your bond payments and your state aid move up together, they'll move down together too. So if you're paying $3 million a year in bonds, at the end of the 15 years, you'll see a $3 million drop in expenses when the bonds are paid. And you'd see a $3 million drop on the revenue side because there's no more state aid. So they move hand in hand so that there's no impact on taxes. I mean, go up or down.
So for the people that are sitting at home, they're going, okay, we've got this, and now you went 94, 95, 96. And I'm thinking, next year, the year after, we're gonna be over $100 million in this district.
yeah, but
that
you
we're
will,
gonna present.
but.
What are we voting on?
It does, you're voting on the 29 million bond, to be honest with you. So 30 million of that, there's a couple different forms of revenue. One of those is the tax base of 29 million. Whether the other stream is 200 million, if we have a $229 million budget, it only affects the community 29 million. If the state wants to give us 200 million, and our budget goes up to 229 million.
That extra is gonna go into fund balance that you're gonna have to say you got money coming in.
No. Fund balance is, and to be honest with you, over the years, fund balance accumulates by overtaxation, to be honest.
Yes.
And we discussed
And
this,
extra
that
money that
we
you
are,
get in.
and we are evening that out. We're absolutely chiseling that down. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the next 3 years are bringing. If we're struggling with state aid as a zero increase right now, we better be prepared for the next 3 years. And we better have something in our back pocket to be prepared for the next 3 years. Because, and I know the governor always scares us, but I have to believe it. But same thing, if we have a $229 million budget, and 29 million is all that that's all that is affecting the community. If the state wants to give us 200 million, and that sounds horrible, but the state is what's giving us the 200 million. It has nothing to do with the community.
We're very fortunate in that I won't say most, but a lot of districts in Orange County that are wealthy, they may get 1/3 of their budget from the state, and they get 2/3 from their taxpayers. We're the opposite. We get 2/3 of our money for our budget from the state, and we only have to get 1/3. Now, each year now, it keeps becoming less and less. What the local taxpayers pay every year, even though it stays 29 million, the percentage of our budget that's funded by our local residents is a smaller percent every year because it's 29 million out of 78. Then they're still only paying 29 out of 82. Then they're only paying 29 out of 90. This year they're paying 29 out of 96. So the percentage of the budget paid by local taxpayers goes down every year under these last 4 years when you look at it. So, and more is paid for by the state.
John, just a question, just a general question. So if we get a fair amount of state funding because of the, how do I say it, the indigenous community sort of that we live in. So what would happen, or if that started to flip? You know, if I mean, you know what I'm saying, over a period of
one thing that they
years.
do use is a wealth calculation.
Okay.
So, and our state aid actually went from, like, when I started, maybe 93% reimbursement to 91 and change reimbursement. So you see that going down a little bit. If we become an extremely wealthy district, they will reevaluate that over time, and that will be 70 cents on the dollar, which is why we have to strike now.
Right.
I mean,
That's what
honestly,
I'm
it's
thinking.
why
Yes,
we have
that's
to
what I
strike
was starting to think. And of course, that wouldn't take place over a year or 2 years or 3 years. That would be time. I mean, for a whole community to change their.
Could be as quick as 5 years.
Really, you think? Wow, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I follow exactly what you're saying, but I was just thinking with real estate and whatnot out as it is, could that begin to turn the tables? But then if that happens, then allegedly your community is in
A better place.
still a better place to.
Like Beacon is a good example.
Right. Okay.
Beacon was a similar small city to us, and then Brooklyn discovered Beacon, and everything went through the roof, and the money came, and they become progressively wealthier, so they get less from the state every year as they get wealthier.
So you have to do it.
It works.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah. If we're getting 92 cents on the dollar, we need to build everything we can now
100%.
before they change the rules and
Yes.
it gets more expensive.
Mhm.
Everything gets more expensive every year just through inflation. But if you don't do it now when you have really amazing reimbursement, you're going to kick yourself down the road.
Yeah. Excellent. Good job.
So we might cause this problem because we're gonna become this tremendously beautiful campus. It already is.
Yes.
But we're gonna have all these improvements, which over time will have people attracted to this district, will come in, it will increase the income in this area, will increase the wealth, and over time, you'll see that get into the 70s in terms of the reimbursement.
Okay.
Yes, this is the next slide.
Okay, so in addition to the school board elections and the budget at no tax increase, there are a couple other things that we're going to go to the voters on. We're looking to sell the Thompson Street building, and you'll see information about the building, how it started as a school in the 1800s, and then it was the district office for over 60 years. And now it's vacant, and we listed it with a realtor, and the highest price was $250. So we're ready to go to contract with them, but it's contingent upon public vote. So just like last year, we bought a building on Pike Street. This year, we're looking to sell a building. But both a purchase or a sale requires public approval. So that's the scoop on Thompson Street. The next one is I talked earlier about phases 1, 2, and 3 of the capital project. Now we're bringing phase 4 to the voters. It's $26.5 million. We are estimating, we'll talk about the financing, but we're estimating around our financial people estimate it's going to be about 88% paid for by the state, and we're going to have to pay for 12%. Because sometimes they have things that they don't need. I give the example all the time too. You might build a 4-room classroom addition to a building, and they give you 8 on the 4 rooms, but they don't give you 8 on the hallway, believe it or not. You got to pay for the hallway. Or at the old middle school, they gave us our 92% aid on all the existing buildings refurbishment, but then the taxpayers had to pay for the new addition. The state didn't give us any money on the new addition. So that's why the numbers flux. But this project is about 88% covered. And the items that are involved is up at HPE, all the unit ventilators, which are the systems in all the classrooms, all the unit ventilators would be replaced, the boilers would be replaced, air conditioning would be installed. Just so you know, the new school on East Main Street has air conditioning, so now this would put air conditioning in the other elementary school. There's also an electrical service upgrade to handle all this, and us redoing the roof. And what they do now is if your roof isn't super saturated, instead of ripping it off and all that stuff going to the dump, they put a resurface over top of the old roof. So if there's any wet spots, you replace the wet spots, and then you actually resurface over top of. That's what they do with flat roofs these days. So that's the bulk of the work being done at HPE. Here at the high school, middle school campus, if you ever look at the top of the gym, there's these gray or opaque rectangular skylights on both sides of the building. They're original from 1960 and they're in really bad shape. So they're going to be replaced. That's not a very big thing in terms of cost. The auditorium, in phase 3, we're doing cosmetic work to the auditorium and sound work to the auditorium. So in phase 4, we're going to do lighting upgrades in the auditorium. And then finally, with the money that's left after we do the bids, after we send it out the bid, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do work on this roof for the most needy areas that need it the most. And then we'll look next year at phase 5 to do the rest of the roof down here. The next thing we're asking the voters to do is to establish a capital reserve account. About 10 or 11 years ago, the voters voted yes to create a capital reserve account that could hold up to $10 million for future capital projects. But the thing is, those accounts only last for 10 years. So we're coming to the end of the 10 years of the last capital reserve. There's 1.4 million left in the account. We're going to use it to help pay for phase 4. But we're asking the voters to approve a new capital reserve account. We're doing that for a couple of reasons. Number one, the state comptroller is always on districts on their case if you have more than 4% of your budget value in fund balance. And we get in trouble for that because we were way over the 4%. The governor also said a few weeks ago that she's going to look to cut state aid of districts that have too much fund balance. But they don't penalize you if you move your money from fund balance into reserve accounts. And you can have reserve accounts for healthcare costs, you can have reserve accounts for retirement costs, you can have reserve accounts for capital projects. So what we're doing is simply asking the voters to allow us to create this account and move money from fund balance into capital reserve for future projects so that we don't get penalized for having that money in the fund balance. We gotta move it out of fund balance or we're gonna get penalized for it. So 10 years ago, the voters said yes to move money over there. We used it on a variety of projects. Now we're asking the voters to do it again this year. And I also, you see Kristen Lopez's name up there. I just want to remind you, if you have kids turning 18 this year, let's get them registered to vote. If you have kids away at college, let's get absentee ballots if they won't be home by May 21st. If you have any friends or relatives that moved into the district, let's make sure they're registered to vote so that they don't come to the polls on May 21st and say, sorry, you're not registered, and they can't participate. Questions? So it's less items than last year. Last year, I think we had to vote on 6, which was a record. This year was only 5. Sorry, I thought that was Flo's mic. That's why.
Hello, Manny White.
This really isn't a question. This is more of a statement. I think utilize. I think when people ask me about money, the number one thing that people don't understand is how to properly use money. It's a tool, and you all are utilizing the money in an incredibly fiscally responsible way. And to have an opportunity to, again, be encouraged to improve our schools for $100 and to be told we'll be given 92 back. But if you wait 2 to 5 years, that same improvement of $100 will only get $70 back or $75 back. That is a proper use of money. I will challenge you to do a little project because I would really like to see how many school districts in New York State during the last 3 years of very aggressive inflation, how many school districts have had a 0% increase to taxpayers for 4 straight years? And so I know it's little, but I would like to know an actual number because I find it incredibly difficult to believe. From the stories I've heard from other districts, what they're going through right now, the taxpayers of this district should be incredibly thankful for the job that you've done.
And I also want to add, unrelated to the annual budget, when we opened bids 2 weeks ago for the Phase 3 project, we were able to get everything we asked for and the alternates, and we were still under budget, which we were really happy because, costs are pretty crazy right now. So the fact that we were, I think it was about 40 grand under, even though that's not a significant amount of money in the grand scheme of things, it's still 40,000 saved. We were thrilled. We were like, we'll take it. So it was good news. Thank you. We'll get you the answer for that. Any other questions about the budget or the referendum? Hang in there, we're almost done.
We're gonna roll now. Thank you. Next up, consent agenda items. We have item A, minutes, Board of Education regular meeting of March 26, 2024. B, minutes, CPSE meeting minutes from January 22nd to March 20th, 2024. Item C, minutes, CSE meeting minutes minutes annual reviews from February 7th to April 9th, 2024. Item D, a grant in the amount of $1,000 from NYSER for District Office Wellness Seminar. Item E, Treasurer's Financial Report from March of 2024. And item F, online auction contract with Auctions International. I need a motion to approve all the consent agenda items.
I'll make the motion.
And a second. Flo, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item 7, personnel employment agenda items. These items include item A, tenure appointments, Anthony Lazaro, Mary Ross, Brittany Foley, Lauren Phalangis, Lindsay Sevilla, and Megan Ross. Item B, retirement support staff position 514, senior food service helper. Item C, retirement support staff position 586, cook manager. Item D, resignation instructional staff position 156, math teacher. Item E, resignation instructional staff position 554, technology teacher. Item F, resignation support staff position 3586, computer services specialist. G, leave of absences. H, appointment administrative staff, vacancy 2597, 2024 summer school principals. I, appointment support staff, vacancy 2598, position 4069, probationary cleaner. Item J, appointment support staff, vacancy 2611, position 3586, computer service specialist. Item K, appointment support staff, substitute cleaner. Item L, appointment substitute teachers for the 2023-24 school year. Item M, change in status, support staff, probationary to permanent status, position 502, cleaner. Can I have a motion to approve all the personnel employment agenda items?
I'll move it.
Okay, I think that was Mike Witt, and then a second, Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations.
Thanks, Leslie. Congratulations to everybody that tenure, and also I wanted to say welcome Richard, our new computer service specialist. Welcome, Richard.
Next up, action items. Item A, resolution to approve the BOCES administrative budget for the 2024-25 school year in the amount of $9,361,477. Can I have a motion?
I'll move.
Nancy, and a second?
Second.
Jason? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Item B, resolution to elect 2 candidates to the Board of Cooperative Educational Services. Each candidate is to serve a 3-year term. It's Mike Bello and Jean Pavek. Can I have a motion? Flo, and a second?
I'll second.
Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item C is going to be approved by a roll call vote. It's a resolution to adopt the Port Jervis City School District proposed budget for the 24-25 school year, and to place the resolution on the ballot for voter approval on May 21st, 2024, in the amount of $96,493,575. This is a roll call. Well, first, can I have a motion?
I'll move.
And a second?
Second.
Quit. Okay. Nancy?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bill H? Jason?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Flo? And Michael?
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimous. Item D is a resolution approval to join the class action lawsuit against social media companies. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Bill, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item E is a resolution, school district business leader administrative intern placement, Walter Kaufman. Can I have a motion to approve this item?
Move it.
Jason? And a second?
I'll second.
Nancy? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good luck to Walter, I know he was here. Item F, resolution, annual reorganizational meeting date. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Whit, second? Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item G is a resolution authorization for board president to sign the pricing proposal. Can I have a motion on this?
Motion.
Okay, Bill, and a second for Flo, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item H, a proposal for architectural and engineering services for the potential Phase 4 bond referendum with LAN Associates.
Make a motion.
Mike? And a second?
Second.
Jason? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item I, capital project allowances and change orders. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Wait, a second?
I'll second.
Jason? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item J is an amendment to the approved 23-24 student calendar. Can I have a motion on this? Bill, a second?
Second.
Mark? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. K is the Board of Education meeting calendar for the 24-25 school year. Can I have a motion?
Move it.
Jason? Nancy,
Second.
second. All in favor? Opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item L is policy, first reading of policy numbers 1270 and 5730. Can I have a motion on item L?
I'll move.
Nancy? Jason, second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Item M, policy, first and final reading for policy numbers 5710, 5755, and 5760. Can I have a motion on item M? Flo?
Second.
Mike is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And item N, policy, second and final readings of policy numbers 5410, 5681, 6141, 6211, 6212.1, 6212.2, 6216, 6220, 7350, 7530, and the deletion of policy number 7619. Can I have a motion on item N? Jason, and a second. Nancy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Yeah. You were really rolling there.
Yeah, well, you're the last one, so I'm butting now. I waited to the end. With the approval of these policies tonight, there'll be a change in practice here in that students who live in the Montague or Eldred School District will now be allowed to pay tuition to come to Port Jervis. So that'll be a new thing for people that want to do it. We'll establish the tuition rates, which we have, and we'll be putting that out. But there are two of our local neighbors that are very small, and they're, quite honestly, they're places that have a really hard time offering a lot of services for their kids. So we think will be an attractive option for them, and it'll be a revenue enhancement for us, because Flo likes that. So we're going to do that for Flo's honor, we'll get more revenue.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. At this time, we have board committee reports. Anything from buildings and grounds? No.
We did meet with B&G committee to discuss all the things related to Phase 4 and the sale of Thompson Street. That was on April 4th, I believe.
Okay, thank you. DLT?
Nothing on report.
Deer Park. Wow. Oh, that's later. Okay. Sorry. Ed committee, there was a meeting on April 10th. However, a lot of it was touched upon in tonight's presentations from our buildings. As discussed, the reading committee is reviewing data and evaluating our current programs. There was discussion about Project Lead the Way, some discussion about Eureka Math, and the committee agreed to move forward with the recommendation of ordering some samples to evaluate. There was discussion about a new curriculum mapping tool, some technology updates on Power School and the data dashboard. And the only thing probably not discussed tonight was from our PPS. They talked about expanding our work-based learning to ShopRite, UPK curriculum that needs to be approved, and a vertical articulation plan from pre-K to kindergarten. Some other items, Dr. Bell had discussed power tool training, training in June for summer school, and leaving school messenger going to parents where some discussion about kindergarten switching from Chromebooks to iPads, and I think most of the rest of it was covered tonight in the presentations. But over 20 teachers are going to Albany for PLC, Professional Learning Communities training in August, and the next meeting is May 8th. Next up, health wellness. Anything on that? Health and
We have a
wellness?
meeting on the 29th.
29th or 9th. NISBA. Orange County, Bill.
Next meeting is May 1st.
Okay, and policy.
Next meeting is May 15th.
Great. Safety committee.
The same date.
Same date.
Oh, okay.
So 29th.
Thank you. Board member comments. We'll start with you, Nancy.
I don't think I need this. I don't need this.
Yeah, they hear you at home.
Right, so it was a really long night, people. Let's not make any mistake here. But, you know, when all is said and done, to listen to everything that the principals had to say, listen to all the students, you know, you just sit here and it kind of occurs to you what a really fantastic district, what wonderful things are happening here. I've had 3 children go through this district, and I had no complaints then, for sure. But to sit on the board and watch the mechanics of how everything happens, and just the clubs, the teachers, you look at all the extracurricular activities, and it dawns on me that it's not just the students that are involved in this. It takes the teachers, it takes the janitors, it takes the building and grounds. It's a whole community that really has to move in the same direction. And John, thank you. You did a great job on the budget, and it's kind of exciting to sit here and let everything sort of simmer about what's going on. So thank you, everyone. And who's that little guy with the Avery? I think he was a riot. He was so good. I want to know how he does in the stock market. But thank you, everybody, for all that you presented tonight.
Thank you. Jason?
Yes, I'd just like to say congratulations to our newly tenured educators. I'd like to thank everybody for their presentations. And I would like to thank Dr. Bell and Mr. Tim for your future work on Phase 5, incorporating Lazaro-proof microphone stands. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Is that Latino or something?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I guess you heard our student representatives and our students talk about the honor flight, which was last Saturday. And I need to thank the administration for having our Mr. Lazara, Damien, who came over with us, all the kids. And again, Mike Witt was there with his family. Again, if you have not seen it, I can't express how the feeling is. I just kept accepting it. And I thank Mr. Bell. He's been there. Hopefully October we'll have more. What we do for our veterans is a very special thing, and it just takes a couple hours out of your night, whether it's the morning or the night, to come over and see us, and to see these veterans who have been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, coming off of a plane 9 o'clock at night. The adrenaline that they have and the smiles on their faces that they are getting a welcome home for the first time, especially Vietnam veterans. And, it's just, I thank the school for being behind us in this and, doing what they do for us. And I can't thank you enough. And if we aren't talking about the budget, There are people home. And I hope everybody don't stop asking questions, because this is what it's about. Somebody at home is going, why is it like that? I'm gonna say it and they're gonna answer it. The guys at home is gonna go, now I know. And be happy about it. Please, don't stop asking the questions. Mine might not come out the right way or the right words, but you know what I'm talking about. And our administrators, yes, they do a wonderful job explaining stuff. Sometimes they do it on purpose, because I want the people to know at home. Because everybody's not here in this audience. They might listen to it a week later or whatever, but it's going to be important before budget time for them to understand why it happens the way it happens. And that's what's important. And I thank them for doing what they do. And yes, they do what I do on purpose, but somebody's got it. You know, somebody's got it. But I hope after I leave, somebody keeps it up, because I'm not saying about it's got to be taught, it's got to be said so people at home can know. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Your couple who's sitting on the couch watching it and saying, now I know. Now I'm going to go and vote, where I wasn't going to go and vote. Now I'm going to go and vote, and I'm going to go and vote for it. That's all I'm saying. And I appreciate it. Appreciate what everybody does. Us sitting up here, taking care of the district. 20 years, 2004 was my first year, and I'm thinking I'm leaving on a good note, but I thank everybody, and I hope the honor flight, I just can't. Okay,
We'll be there, don't you worry.
I know.
Thank you, Bill.
As you heard around the table, it's been an incredibly busy couple of weeks here in the district. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. 2 weeks ago, the middle school musical Rock of Ages. I just want to thank everyone who came out and supported us. We had record-breaking numbers of ticket sales. So it shows that the arts are alive and still growing in this area. And I want to thank the entire board and everyone for their support on that. Last Saturday, I was honored and thrilled to be part of the Special Olympics here. And what a day it was. It was an early morning. We went to late afternoon, but I would do it every weekend if I couldn't do it again. Being with these student athletes and special needs of all of them that attended, it was just a remarkable day that would bring tears to your eyes. And I just want to thank everyone who had their efforts that put forth on this. And lastly, it's going to be before our next meeting, but May 6th through 10th, we are going to honor our teachers and our staff with Appreciation Week. And I just want to start by saying thank you for everything you do. Without you, we could do none of this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shouldn't have given me a microphone. It's been, for me, sitting on the board, it's been an incredible year. When I first got elected last May, I was nervous about sitting up here and speaking openly or asking questions. But this board has shown me, the district has shown me that we're here to fight for our kids, our students, our staff, our incredible principals and teachers, our administrators, whether it's fighting for issues of graduation or getting pupil services or having kids come to Honor Flight. You hear about Honor Flight. I was there Saturday night. What a powerful, moving experience for our veterans. Guys 92 years old getting off and high-fiving people. I'm 52 and I wanted to be in bed at 7 o'clock. I mean, it's an incredible showing and backing from what this district has to offer. I have a senior graduating, I have a junior graduating next year. To see where the district has come in 4 years is absolutely incredible. There are almost no words to see what we offer, whether it's sports, academics, after-school programs, the construction. Yes, it's scary, but necessary. We're a district that hasn't done a lot over the course of time, and now we seem to be doing it all at once, but it's just going to make our district that much better, that much more special. A draw for people to move to Port Jervis and Deer Park and be here, and be part of our community, and increase our wealth so our taxes don't go up. So all the things that we're doing are necessary, but again, without all of us and all of you and everybody watching at home, we wouldn't be anywhere. So thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and for sharing and doing what we do. And congratulations to all our tenured teachers and Ms. Lozaro especially. Our high school is lucky to have him. So just we're incredibly blessed.
Thank you, Landmark.
Well, everyone just wants to leave right now. I feel like anything I say will be repeating. Tonight was a pretty amazing night. From the tenured teachers to the amazing presentations from the middle schoolers and the high schoolers and the post-grad. I think, in business, I talk about momentum, and there's positive momentum and there's negative momentum, both equally as powerful. And I feel that what's going on right now is some pretty amazing positive momentum that starts from the top and goes to every single person in this community. Flo, I promise that if I am elected, I will carry your torch. I will press them whenever I can on the money side of things, because yes, we are here for the students, but we represent the taxpayers, and we can't forget that. And so that's why I applaud you both for the three of you for what you've done. And I think tonight was a pretty special night for me. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you. I echo the sentiments of my fellow board members and congratulations to the tenure recipients. At this time, we have the dates to remember. April 18th through 22nd, the high school senior class trip to Universal. Friday, April 19th, the high school marking period ends, and it's ASK book bingo from 6 to 7 in the high school cafeteria. Wednesday, April 24th, is the New York State 5th grade science assessment. At the middle school PTA meeting at 6:30 at the middle school. Thursday, April 25th, is the HBE PTA meeting at 6 p.m. in the HBE cafe. It's also the high school junior information night from 6 to 8 at the high school auditorium. Friday, April 26th, is high school report card distribution. Saturday, April 27th, is the junior semi-formal from 6 to 9 in the high school gym. Tuesday, April 30th, is the HBE book fair and family night from 5 to 7 at HBE. Am I reading May too?
Well, our meeting's May 7th.
Okay, so May 1st is the Kuykendall Awards at 10 a.m. at HBE, the High School Honor Society induction from 7 to 9 in the high school auditorium, Parent Engagement Special Education Evening from 5:30 to 7:30 in the high school library, May 2nd, Multicultural Night, 6 p.m. here in the high school cafe. May 3rd is the middle school spring formal from 6 to 8, location to be determined. May 3rd is the All-County Music Festival in the evening at Monroe. May 4th, All-County Music Festival all day at Monroe. It's also the SATs from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. here at the high school. May 7th is the Board of Education meeting and budget public hearing, 7 p.m. here in the high school cafeteria. Okay, at this time, I need a motion to adjourn. So, and a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 9:33. Thanks for hanging in there.